What it do? Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you don't love the content, you can still do those things because you could help a brother out. Make sure that you comment. I love to have conversations in the comment section. I will reply to you because ball is life. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our great content. Also, lastly, hang on towards the end of this video because there will be some other great suggested videos that we know you will love. Thus, make sure you do that. So, the Thunder got wiped off the face of the map a few days ago at this point. And they're going to be in for a war, I think, in Game 7, or they could blow them out. Honestly, it's a toss-up. They do play a lot better at home most of the time. They had a big Game 7 against the Nuggets, and they blew them off the face of the earth. They're going to need to do something similar in Game 7 coming up on Sunday night, or they could be in a lot of trouble. But the main thing that I wanted to speak about in this video, it's going to be short, but something to keep in mind going forward into this final Game 7. I really believe it's going to come down to J-Dub, which is Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. I really think that's what this game is going to come down to. Now, Shai Gilgeous is going to do what he does. He's always going to do what he does. He's the MVP. He's the best player in the league. He's going to ball. He's going to show what he's got. The problem is, how will his teammates fare? But specifically, J-Dub and Chet. Now, J-Dub in this past game, in Game 6, had the worst plus-minus since they began tracking it in 97-98. The worst in the finals. He was a minus 40. Terrible. He has 16 points, but it just goes to show he wasn't really doing a lot of, good things out there on the court. And it happens. We all have bad games. I'm not going to over-exaggerate. The game before, he was a god out there. He had 40 points. He was giving it to them every single way they wanted. It was like Burger King. It was a wrap. However, all right, he didn't do well at all last game. And guess what? The Thunder struggled mightily. But it wasn't just him. Okay? It wasn't just him. If you check out the box score, you would actually see that Chet struggled mightily as well. Chet played 24 minutes, but he was only 2 for 9, and he only had 4 points. And funny enough, I saw this guy, and I always forget what this podcast is called. I always forget what it's called. But I like it, and I watch it a lot, clips of it on Instagram. And the guy that was speaking definitely had a lot of basketball knowledge, and he was saying, I am almost fearful of Chet Holmgren, his ability to maintain the physicality in this series. And Miles Turner didn't have a great game either last game. He really struggled. I think he was 0 for 8 at one point. He finished the game 1 for 9. So he really didn't have a good game. But one thing he did do is he slowed down Chet Holmgren. Because like I said, Chet Holmgren was 2 for 9 and only had 4 points. And his shot also is being affected because he's just physically getting pounded on. Pause. No diddy. And he also only had, if you look at it, let me see here. It looks like he also only had, like we said, he only had 6 rebounds, So the game before that, he just played a lot better. He had 15 rebounds in the game before. And it really leads you to believe that, again, this team is only going to go as far as J-Dub and Chet. Help them go. That's it. SGA is going to come out. He's going to ball. He's the leader. But he's got to get those guys going. And J-Dub, it's just a toss-up. Sometimes he looks like really, really good. And most of this series, he has looked really, really good. But at times, he's just out there and you don't really know what his game is. So he can get to the mid-range sometimes and he puts up some pretty decent shots. When his shot is going, he's tough because he can drive. He's strong off the dribble. He's not like a crazy athletic finisher, but he's 6'6", very strong, fairly explosive in his own way. Not over the rim, really, that type of guy. He can be, but he's not usually like dunking hard on dudes. He usually dunks good when he gets his, finds the opening. But it's really going to come down to if he's hitting his shot. If he's hitting his shot, that makes it a lot better. Now, the game before, when he had 40 points, him and SGA would just slice into the basket relentlessly, and the Pacers just played terrible defense. But this last game, I really didn't pay attention as much to what they were doing to Jalen Williams. But on SGA, once he got to a certain spot, they trapped him. They just brought the double. They didn't even hesitate. And it caused some extra turnovers because they were doing something different than they did the game before. But like I said, it really just comes down to how J-Dub plays. But Chet's going to have to find it. He's going to have to eat some protein shakes before this game. He needs to put on 15 pounds today. But he's got to be more physical, man. Chet sometimes looks like he doesn't know what he's doing. And somebody had mentioned to me that they started Hartenstein again. And Hartenstein has played well in his role. But Hartenstein, as of right now, is a better offensive player than Chet. Because he's a great passer. Hartenstein can pass. So he can, you can play off of him a little bit more. Chet kind of looks like he's out there. He's a really good defender. But on offense, he definitely looks like he needs more work. He needs to be able to use his strength to get to the basket more. His jump shot is really slow. I think that's like one of the things that drives me the most nuts about him. It's very slow. So he's got some work to do in the offseason, in my opinion. But we don't have time for the offseason. He's going to have to pick it up. So at the very worst, you can't have just 6 rebounds, man. You got to go out there and get those boards. He had no blocks, which, like I said, his calling card is defense. So he's got to get those blocks. He's got to play some defense. He's got to get those boards. And, that's that. So J-Dub and Chet, what are you going to do? How badly do you want this championship? Because, your brother, your leader, SGA, you know what he said? He said, listen, it's one game. And it could be everything you ever dreamed of if you win. If you lose, you get nothing. So you get everything you ever dreamed of and you win, or you lose and you get nothing. And I hope J-Dub and Chet Holmgren have the same attitude. With that said, we're going to leave the video here. Thank you very much for listening this long. I truly appreciate you. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Share it out because we're trying to grow the channel. We got some great content. We just, need people to check it out. Make sure that you hit the comment section up because I will reply to anything that you say, I promise. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our great content. Make sure that you hang on because we have some great suggested videos, selected and suggested, that we know you'll love. I appreciate you truly. Thank you very much for listening this long. Very humble. Much love. That somehow you never get over leaving me, and when you feel like